Big good one here, and eventually we will like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Help rank up my channel, show your support. I greatly appreciate it. It's really hard. I don't have as much reach as a monetized channel does, and that makes it harder to get monetized. Not to mention that the fact that they already have a regular audience that just views their videos mainly because they've already got too many subscriptions. So first, I want to mention that there's a lower tier Disney actress, I think Disney actress, Skai Jackson, and I first came across her name during the Hartley Sawyer stuff. She's going around on Twitter doxing minors, exposing their private information, their contact information, and all that to people, and she's encouraging and recruiting her fans to dox these people over so-called racism. Now, the thing about people like this is they're incredibly toxic and easily offended, and they can take a lot of things out of context and call people racist when there's no factual evidence to support it. And because she is black herself, it would be easier for her to emotionally manipulate it, and to people buying the fact that it is racist. Now, some of these comments may actually be racist and stuff. I don't know all the details of it, but she is doxing people, which incites real life, which could lead to real harm to these individuals. In real life, it could destroy their lives. The fact that they're also minors. So I don't know everything going on there, all the facts and stuff, but I do know that Skai Jackson is encouraging and recruiting her fans and doxing people. And you know where that leads. Exposing their private information is to cause harm to them in real life. It's no longer words. It's no longer internet stuff. It is inciting real life violence, potentially. Real life harm to these individuals over words said on the internet. Anyways, moving past that, I wanted to go over Kevin Hart and his thoughts on cancel culture, his advice to people on social media. If you're not familiar, Kevin Hart knows Kevin Hart was gonna host the Oscars. He ended up stepping down back in 2018. It was a big deal. Kevin Hart's not a comedian that I find all that funny or likable, but I don't dislike him or hate him. And I don't think anybody should be trying to cancel a comedian over jokes that were never meant to be taken serious in the first place. Things that he also said years ago. Anyways, Kevin Hart ended up stepping down from the Oscars in the 2018, which has been scheduled, of which he had been scheduled to headline, when the homophobic tweets in question ran around, and those were just jokes. Now he's speaking out about his feelings regarding the internet and cancel culture in general. To be clear, Kevin Hart isn't saying the joke that resurfaced back in 2018 was appropriate, but he does have some feelings about cancel culture in general and the level of scrutiny and moral expectations laid on celebrities' shoulders. He even has some advice for those on social media who have or have been a part of cancel culture. Let's break it down first. So he goes on to say, I think that right now you gotta get to a point where you just become more realistic, right? What I mean by being realistic is nobody is perfect, nobody is going to be. This whole idea of a cancel culture means that you're living in a time where you're just expecting perfection, as if people don't slip or fall down the steps. And I can 100% agree with that. People have these unrealistic expectations of others. It's no wonder every celebrity is running around virtue signal, trying to act like pure saints, trying to act like angels. And the people typically involved in canceling people, the people typically involved in cancel culture that are behind it, that are the driving force behind it, are typically very horrible people, likely guilty of much, much worse than words or anything anybody's doing. They're likely guilty of something pretty extreme than horrible. People driving cancel culture aren't innocent. They try to project this image, but they go around just fueled by hate and destruction, and they are essentially a hate group. Cancel culture is a hate group. They just want to destroy people. Their entire motivation is to destroy others, because even if these people, even if these celebrities apologize for their behavior, it's not good enough. It's never good enough. They just want to see them destroyed. So that's what makes them a hate group. So speaking to Oprah's O Magazine, Kevin Hart talked for a while about not knowing any better when he was young and making ill-advised jokes online. His story is similar to James Gunn, who also made some jokes online prior to becoming famous for Guardians of the Galaxy. However, the difference between James Gunn, people keep drawing comparisons like Kevin Hart or Hartley Sawyer to James Gunn, but James Gunn had associations with known pedophiles, convicted pedophiles, and he would make pedophilic jokes with them. There were also photos that came out that showed him at a To Catch a Predator party where he dressed up like a pervert, and all of these other people were dressed up like innocent children, while half of them were dressed up like perverts, predators, and all that. To this day, to me, it still baffles me, and I still find it like really bizarre and questionable who threw the party, who all attended the party, how many people were there, and who thought, oh man, enough people would be interested in this kind of party. That's all very bizarre stuff to me. But James Gunn is on the right side of politics to get away with pretty much anything if he wanted to. And Hollywood is full of sick perverts. Like Bryan Singer, who's had tons and tons of accusations against him for molestation and rape. But there's more evidence, and it's all circumstantial, to suggest that James Gunn is actually guilty of something than somebody like Kevin Hart or Hartley Sawyer. But still, unless there's hardcore factual evidence, I don't think he should just be abruptly canceled. Cancel culture is horrible, that perhaps a deeper look can be taken at James Gunn. Even though I did enjoy his films. In his case, old tweets also later resurfaced, while Hart also mentions that sometimes behavior online can be apparent and sometimes there needs to be ramifications. He also believes there are a lot of gray areas and teachable moments that many people on the internet are willing to have patience for. So yes, he recalls, it actually reminds me of something Michael Jordan said during The Last Dance about setting examples based on his values but not wanting to be seen as a role model. Okay, so let's see what Kevin Hart says next. It's weird to really hold people at a level that they never asked to be held at. You gotta learn to act accordingly. You gotta learn to carry yourself in a professional, respectful manner. That's things that are discovered in life. If babies come out with all the knowledge, then what's the point of going from age 1 to 21? You can't hold me accountable for my childish behavior at 21. Now I'm an adult. Well, from 21 to 30, now I'm a young adult. Well, I didn't know what life was going to be as an old adult, so I messed up. We can't be persistent with the search and find and destroy. Here's the thing I have to say, is that you shouldn't justify it just by age. Say, I shouldn't be held accountable. You're a comedian. These jokes were never meant to be taken serious at all. They're jokes. You're a comedian. That's your profession. That's what you do for a living. You cannot say that you should be acting your age when your profession is to tell jokes, and jokes, comedy is offensive. A lot of jokes are offensive, and it makes people laugh. You can't just say that, oh, what I said was like age appropriate at the time. So you're a comedian, dude. You shouldn't be held accountable for jokes. Anyways, it's not like it was like targeted harassment or something like that. It was jokes. Stuff never meant to be taken serious, and this is why comedy is a dying art form. This is also why freedom of speech is a dying art form. So let's move on. Cancel culture has come up a lot in recent years, particularly as the internet has evolved and websites like Twitter have become more popular with toxic. It doesn't say that there, but websites like Twitter exist just to promote toxic behavior and live in a bubble and have everything one-sided. So, however, Kevin Hart did change from the experience. He bowed out of the Oscars that year. He changed his stance and apologized, and he's grown ever since. But to be real, he's a comedian. He should never apologize for doing his job, which was telling jokes to make people laugh. And yes, some of those jokes may be offensive, but whatever. He's a comedian. You want to kill off comedy and have no laughs and pretend to be all pure, angelic, and virtuous? By all means, live that way yourself, but don't expect people to live that way just because you expect it. It's okay to fail. It's okay to not be perfect. These are Kevin Hart's words right here. It's okay to not get it right. It's okay. The thing about making mistakes is embracing it and being willing to grow from it. And if you are that person and you are willing to grow from it, then 9 times out of 10, you're going to be better off in the long run. Look, again, unless I'm mistaken, yes, it's okay to not be perfect and all that, and that's what these people don't seem to get. But also at the same time, unless I'm mistaken, they were just jokes, never meant to be taken serious. So it's not really something you have to grow from. They're just jokes. Anyways, this isn't the only incident that allowed Kevin Hart to gain perspective. He publicly was involved with the cheating scandal, and it just goes on to talk about just some cheating scandal he had, and I don't know anything about that, but we can't kill off comedy people just because you're offended. If you're don't go check out a comedian's page if you're so offended by jokes, because their whole thing is to not be taken serious. It's to tell jokes to make people laugh, and if you don't have a sense of humor, you should not even be checking this guy out. You should not be looking through his old tweets, especially. It's just really silly and ridiculous to hold people accountable for things they did years ago. Like, people don't grow and change, and they should not be expected to just change entirely who they are or their opinions entirely just because they don't align with your views. It's all ridiculous in my opinion. But again, Skai Jackson, a lower tier Disney actress, is going around doxing people, exposing their real private information, and she's recruiting her fans and possibly inciting real harm to these individuals. Because when it comes down to it, exposing people's information like that is just dangerous. And this is just an example of the type of cancel culture, how it's toxic, how it's a hate group. It's entirely fueled by hatred. That's all there is to it. It is entirely fueled by hatred. People need to stop bending the knee and bowing to it and apologizing for it, because even when you apologize for it, it's not good enough. It's never good enough for them, because they only want to destroy you. It is, in fact, a hate group. Cancel culture, those behind it, those involved with it, those who seek out to destroy somebody just, I guess, to temporarily feel powerful, to destroy somebody more powerful than them. I guess they just do it to temporarily feel powerful, but they're a hate group. They might as well be clan members or they might as well be one of these hate groups. They should probably be classified as a hate group. People trying to cancel other people based off just words or jokes, it's not cool. Anyways, that's the video there. Let me know what you think about all this Kevin Hart stuff and what he's saying. Do you agree with most of what he's saying? Do you think that as a comedian, he shouldn't be expected, his jokes shouldn't be expected to be taken so seriously by somebody who has no sense of humor? Just let me know what you think of all this, and let me know what you think of that Skai Jackson BS, the way she's actually doxing people. Anyways, stay good one here. Like, subscribe, share, and stay awesome. Rock on.